from where we stopped yesterday, and it's going to be, as usual, something that has to do with exposing us to something that's very key, very essential, and very important for us to learn. So I'm sure that yesterday's encounter was fine. Your feedback was great, and it's nothing but motivation to me to make sure that we hop on this call today again to learn a lot of things together. So in voice, right, there are some basic things that people need to be aware of. And then for part of those contents, terms that you hear like enterprise voice enabled users, right? So when we say enterprise voice enabled users, what that goes to tell you is users that are enabled to do PSTN, to make PSTN calls. So if users are enabled to make PSTN calls, then those users are known as enterprise voice enabled users. But if they are not enabled for enterprise voice, then they are called users without enterprise voice. If they are not enabled to make calls, PSTN calls, yeah. So there are parameters that you can use to really determine the state, the enterprise voice enabled state of users in your organization. And that is an output of a PowerShell command. So when you are troubleshooting issues with voice, one thing that is very key, one very, very important thing that is very key that you want to find out at any instant in time is the enterprise voice enabled state of that user, and then and that's very important. So now before you can you can understand how that works, you need to make sure that you know how to run PowerShell commands. So the voice routing policy for those that are using third-party system of voice, that is talking about direct routing, talking about operator connects, right? You truly need to know how to fetch those details. And because of how important it is for you to be able to fetch those details, today I'm going to be introducing us to the PowerShell commands in Microsoft Teams. And for those who are not friends to coding, you may want to chicken out, but I want to tell you that it is not coding itself. Myself, I'm not a coding person, but I can understand PowerShell commands because they are just basic verb noun statements. Verb noun statements, right? Get command, get or set user, get something. So there is actually nothing very, very, very key when it comes to PowerShell. Just look at the lines. It is actually speaking English language. It is nothing more than English language. So I'm going to be teaching you English language today. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is just so you can troubleshoot some basic things with voice. Because yes, you can really look at some things and know how to do them, but you will do better if you understand the PowerShell commands around Microsoft Teams. So there are some things that I would have loved us to do, but unfortunately, I tried to source for the licenses and we couldn't get, right? Based on the trials we had have expired and the cards that we have, some of them are failing. So, but I will refer you to some of the videos that we had recorded in the past that actually dove deeper into those topics. But don't allow those to actually clog your following along with what we are trying to do. So the topic of conversation today is going to be continuation of enterprise voice or Teams voice, but we are going to be concentrating more on how to get user attributes and really demystify those properties. Now, I must tell you something. From yesterday's conversation, you remember that we mentioned this is our book. We still have it opened, right? So we mentioned that if you are making your call via PSTN, I mean, you're making PSTN call, you're following Microsoft, you're using calling plan, you need two type of license, phone system and calling plan. When you have the phone system and calling plan license, that user is tend to be called an enterprise voice enabled user. So sometimes you give this license to user and you are unable to assign phone number to the user. And that's where you actually need to go and check if the user is enterprise voice enabled. We'll go back into those, right? I'm just having some failure with the portal and I don't want to bother myself about what this portal has been trying to do since the last 10-15 minutes. The team's admin portal is really misbehaving. And our marvelous internet connection this period too in my location is helping us so much. So, but I don't want us to now be like we are stuck. But this, what we are going to be doing is not an afterthought either. It is something that is within the schedule of our conversation today. And that is PowerShell in Microsoft Teams. So how do you look at PowerShell in Microsoft Teams? How do you even launch PowerShell? So if you come to your search menu, right? If you come to your search menu, unfortunately it's on the other screen. I will just stop sharing this screen and share this other screen so that we can see what I'm doing. So I'll share this other one first. I'm going to stop sharing later and then share the other one also. So I'm just going to share this. Okay, so from the response I got, I know that the screen is visible now. So if I go to search for PowerShell, right? So you will see that I have 3 or 4 as the case may be. So this is PowerShell 7, and then this is PowerShell, and then this is called Windows PowerShell. This is PowerShell 7, and then this is Windows PowerShell ISE. So ISE means integrated scripting environment. So, and this is PowerShell x86, and then we have PowerShell ISE x86. So when you load the first one, right, if you click on this, it will load up a blue interface for you. And this time, the PowerShell is opening as window PowerShell and nothing more. Copyright Microsoft, trying to do this, and the PC name is Joseph. All of this is just blinking. Nothing is special. But what did I do? I just clicked on it, right? And then second one, if I come back to check PowerShell also, what am I going to see? If I want to open the PowerShell 7, it's going to just come as a black screen, right? So this is how PowerShell 7 looks like. It's like the updated form of the other one, 7.4.6, right? Now, I also have another PowerShell here, PowerShell, and that PowerShell is PowerShell ISE. So if I open PowerShell ISE, this is how this one looks, right? So good. If you have this PowerShell look this way, you have option to make it look another way. So you have it look this way. I've just clicked something, it's not responding. You can make it look this way so that you are typing your script by the right hand side and they are running on the left hand side. You can decide to do it this way and it's just white, but what I prefer most time is this. And most people actually prefer this so that you can write your code up here and then they can run down below. Don't bother, I'm going to show you everything now, but this is me just running the PowerShell as end user, right? As an end user of this machine, if I have admin right on this machine, then what I'm doing is going to be opening the PowerShell as admin, even though I am just opening it because of the role I have on the machine. Then it's going to open as admin. But ideally, when you open PowerShell, you look for PowerShell, and I want us to use ISE because I want it to be clear to us when we are typing our commands. So how you do this is you click on this, and then you run as administrator. So if you want to carry out get, if you want, if you want to carry out get commands, so get command is like you are trying to view what is available, right? If you're not carrying out any action, any changes, any modification, you may be able to run get command if you open the PowerShell as an end user. But instances where you want to run set command or update command or new command. So set command is like you are making it, you are resetting something. Update is like you are changing something to the newest version. Then new is like you are creating something new. So like I mentioned from the beginning, PowerShell actually is English. Somebody's mic is on. Somebody's mic is on. And that is not good for us, please. This time this person is taking from us is robbery, you know. So why not you just check your mic and mute it? Who is that person? Victor Matthew, please can you just mute your mic? All right, so apologies for that glitch in shorts that has made me lose my. So if you want to run commands like get, right, you are only trying to see what is available. See, get, set, you are making a change. Update, you are as a word imply, you are updating, so you are making changes. You may not be able to run your commands in PowerShell as an end user. So that's where you want to run your command as an administrator. So it is usually advisable that you open your PowerShell command in an administrative mode, because just in case you need to make a change while you are running your command, you actually know, you actually don't have to close and reopen. So that's why if I search for PowerShell, and then what I would do is either you right click and you run as administrator, or you come to this line here, this arrow pointing right inside your screen, and then you click on run ISE as administrator. So you can just right click run as admin, right? And that's just going to tell you this. I don't know if you will be able to see what's on my screen because Teams does not show the admin part when you share your screen. So now you should be able to see PowerShell ISE opening in my environment. And if you are somebody who wants to search, instead of going to the web to search, you can actually look at this as suggested commands. Like here is list of command. You can see that from PowerShell, you see disable AD accounts. What is this? Verb. What is this? A noun. AD account is a noun. Check this, disable AD optional feature. What is this? A verb. What is this? A noun. Then you look at this, disable again. What is this? BitLocker. BitLocker is a noun. Disable is a verb. So all your PowerShell commands, no matter how complex they look, if you try to look at it, they are definitely in verb now. If you look at this, enable, run space debug. So run space debug is a verb, then enable is a is a noun, and then enable is a verb. Then for get, you can look at this, get hyphen AD accounts authorization group. This is a verb and this is a noun. So they are structured in that order. So this PowerShell ISE will show you like a list of things that you need to get, like they are arranged in in alphabetical order. You have get CS, Teams shift, connection, right? This is a verb and this is a noun. So after get, what do you have? After G, what's the next set of verbs that you have? You may have something like, I'm just trying to get what the next thing is. So there are a lot of get command. That's what it means. So there is import. Import is also a verb, and then counter is a noun. So import is a verb, and then this is a noun. So this will give you idea about what you are looking for. So this is move, and this is this. So new is actually, you'll be looking at new, move as verb. You'll be looking at new as a noun for somebody. We're looking at new as as um as adjective, right? But in this case, what it means is that you should create new. So the command is actually create new. right? So, and it's saying that AD authorization policy. So this in the real sense is a verb because it's saying that you are going to create something new. Just so when you see command like this, you don't think that, hey, but this guy told us that it is verb now. New is actually an adjective. So especially for those of us who know how to speak English very well and know parts of speech, you will not agree with this easily. But maybe until you understand what I'm trying to say, like this new sim session is talking about verb, create a new sim session. So create a new auto attendance menu. So that's a lot, right? So if I were you and I'm new to PowerShell, I can decide to come here to look at them. And this is module. This is saying all modules. So you can decide to say you want to look for modules that speaks to BitLocker, and then you just see them here. You may want to say you want to look for modules that speaks to, I don't know what you may be looking for. You may just be looking for remote desktop commands. So this is remote desktop, right? So you can filter to the modules, the set of modules that you want. So you can really do a lot, right? So if what you are looking for is Microsoft, just name it, right? So you can just take your time. I'm not saying that everything is here, but most of the things that you would need to use are here. They're also searchable from the web. So you can also go to web to search. So for storage, these are like commands that are used for storage. So this covers both on-prem and cloud commands. So that's how ISC looks, and that's what we are going to be using today in um, all of our deals. So I want to reshare my screen, and I'll share the second screen where I have the ISC now fully opened. So I'm going to do this quickly. So I'm sharing this screen. So I want to believe that my second screen is shared already. So what I want us to do is, there is what is called, so I'm just going to pull the other command here so that nobody gets confused. I have ISC also. Yeah, good. So, so when you want to start running your PowerShell command, one thing that is common is for you to get and get a piece of information about how your PowerShell is set up at that instant in time on that machine. So what you want to do is you want to get, so there's what is called execution policy. So execution policy tells you if PowerShell is allowed to run in your environment, right? If PowerShell is allowed to run on this machine, that is what execution policy. So execution policy is saying, is PowerShell allowed to run on this local machine? The answer is either yes or no. So now you can also set execution policy. I will tell you an instance where if you are working on a particular session and it is not connecting, it's not, commands are not running for you, you can decide to come and see what's happening. So for example, if I check now, you can see I have the command here and I'm clicking here, right? Here is run selection. So run selection is the line where I am having my cursor blinking. It is, if I click on this, it's going to run this. But if I click on this one, it is going to run, if I have more than one line of commands and I click on this, it's going to run everything together, one after the other. So, but if I want to run line by line, I can decide to run this, right? So what am I getting? I'm getting whether PowerShell commands are allowed in my Windows machine. And then it's saying it is unrestricted. So for example, there can be instances where you want to change the execution policy. Please don't get confused. Execution policy is just the policy set on this machine that determines whether I should be able to run PowerShell commands or not. So if it is unrestricted, what it means is that I can run. What if it is unrestricted? It means I cannot run. So there are two states that it can be before I can run. Either it is in unrestricted, which is sometimes not advisable, or it is in remote signed. So I'm just going to bring up something now, and we are going to change it to, and we are going to do set. So now what is happening? I want to explain something to you. Get is saying, what is it? Set is saying I want to change. Execution policy, if I come to this place now, I remove the UN, right? I remove the UN. What does it mean? If something is not restricted, then if something is not restricted and I'm saying that it should be restricted, it means it should be closed, right? So if I do this now, if I do this command, if I want to run it, if I run this line, what it will do is that, can you see the output is coming down below here? If I run this first line, if I put my cursor on this first line and I run this one, it's going to just give me the same output. But if I go to zoom, oh goodness, how do I even do that? I know there's a way I can do that, but just hold on. I think it's in file or view, right? I want to believe that it is better now, right? So my set execution policy is going to, yeah, thank you, Gona. So set execution policy is going to just tell me what I'm having is unrestricted. So so get is going to show me what I have is unrestricted. Set is going to change the execution policy to restricted if I'm setting it back to restricted. And I was saying that if I click on this run, it's going to run the line that I have the cursor blinking. But if I click on the first one here, it's going to run the two commands for me. So let me just mistakenly click on this. So you see what is going to be. What is happening here? It has run it has run the first one. The get execution policy is unrestricted. And the next thing it wants to do is to go and set this. That's why it's asking me, do you want to set? So it's making this change. So it's asking me, do you want to make this change? Because it's running the both. So you will really see that this is the outcome of the first one, which is the get, and the set was going to run next because I was using this one, right? So, but what I would do is I would just do so let's see. So I want to run only this second. So I will put something here, and it is CLS. CLS is clear screen. So you may want to know about alias. So LS is clear screen, right? So if I click on this, it will just clear the below for me. So I have already run get and we see the output. So I want to run sets. So if I run this set and then I say yes to all. So it's saying the execution policy help protect you from scripts that you do not trust. Changing the execution policy might expose you to the security risk described in the above. Execution policy helps, then the topic can be read from this place. So what it's saying, just for example, it was in restricted, and I'm coming back to say it should be unrestricted. I will always get this warning. So anytime I want to switch execution policy, I will always get this prompt that tells me, do you really want to change execution policy? It can expose your machine to running untrusted scripts, right? But for this, I'm fine. I can just say yes to all. So now if I come back to say get execution policy and I do this, it's going to tell me that it is now restricted. So what does it mean? That if I run any command here, they are going to be failing because I have disabled scripting or PowerShell script to run on this machine. So there's another execution policy, and that is called remote sign. So set execution policy. I'm just doing that on the second screen. Policy remote sign. So for the remote sign, I just wanted to be sure that, yeah, I'm getting the spelling correctly. So it's remote signed. So I can also do this. I can also do, you see this execution policy. If I do this now, and I'm replacing this with remote sign. So it can also be this. So for this is, I may not be able to explain it very clearly, but what this means is that is allowed to connect remotely. So it can work. So if I do this set execution policy and I hit on this, So the same thing will happen. So if I come back to get execution policy, then it's going to be remote signed, right? So if I want to put it restricted, so they can be restricted, remote signed, and then they can be unrestricted. So I'm going to do the last one, which is unrestricted. So I'm going to do this. Then I'll put my UN here to be unrestricted. So this is the most exposed. So this is the least exposed or most restrictive, lower in the midst of restriction, and then this is the least restricted. So least restricted, more restricted, and then most restricted, yeah, from below to above. So if I run this on unrestricted, and then it can just run this way. And if I want to clear these old guys here, I'll just come back to this CLS and then run this thing here. Then I've cleared my slate and it is now clean. If that makes sense so far. So I will try to look at the next thing. And the point is, for you to work with Teams PowerShell, you need to install the module, the PowerShell module. So there are three things you can really do if you want to connect to Teams PowerShell. To connect to Teams PowerShell, to Teams, what am I doing? To connect to Teams via PowerShell. To connect to Teams via PowerShell, you actually need to do some things. And one is that you must install the module, install the Teams module. Because if you don't install the module, you cannot call on it. Then if you install it, two is you will import that module you imported. You import the module. And then the next thing is that you connect to Teams PowerShell. It's as simple as this, honestly. So you need to first of all know that you would have to install, because for you to do anything, installation is key, and that can be done only once, right? So and the importation can be done only once, but anytime you want to carry out an action, you can also disconnect after you are done with whatever you are doing. But when you close out the session, when you close out the PowerShell session, you would actually automatically get signed out of Teams. So what that means is that whenever you are launching the PowerShell terminal to carry out any activity, you need to at that point again try to connect back. So installation is out, importation is out, but connection you have to do whenever you come to work on PowerShell. So now keep the CLS very close to your hearts, because we are going to be using it to clear our screen. Okay. So now the next thing that we want to do is the first item I mentioned, and that is installation. So how you install PowerShell, Teams PowerShell, is actually install -module PowerShell. Right, I'll just paste it here for us to look at. So now there are other stories that follow through. Ideally, this is what you need. Install -module, the name of the module, Microsoft Teams. So this is install is a verb, right? Module is a noun. So what module? The name of the module, Microsoft Teams. This is enough. But sometimes some systems are difficult. They are hard. They claim stubborn, right? I will just choose to force the module, and then we do all clubber, so that this is like, if you're having problem with this, you may be asked to force it. And then if you are still having problem after you forced it, you may also need to allow all clubber. So don't bother about to understand what all clubber is. So for me, I will advise you that you should just understand that this is the command to connect to Teams. I'm going to share these commands. So to install Teams, not to connect, to install Teams. So the steps first of all is to install. So what you do, you can just hit on this, and then you click on this. So what happens is that it will initiate the installation of Teams. So what is going on by the background now is Teams is being installed. So when this is being installed, you have like the red sign here that is showing you whether to stop this operation or to break it. You can do Control C, but you can wait for it. So the reason why the delay is that something is happening by the background. And this is actually a function. The speed at which you get a response is actually a function of your internet connection as well. So we'll just fold our hands at this point and then we'll just wait. But this command is going to fail if you had run the set execution policy and then you put the execution policy to restricted. So this command would ordinarily throw error for you if and only if you have your command running and then it was in what's it called? It was in restricted mode. It ordinarily will not work. So that's how the whole thing happened. So I just want us to fold our hands and wait. Ordinarily, it's not supposed to take as long as this, but because of how beautiful our network connectivity is this period, then we're already seeing like a lot of speed in outputs. So I'll just drag it onto this side and then try to bring up the admin center also and see what's happening there. Let me just check for the admin center quickly. So you can see that even the portal that was supposed to open, okay, it's open, but I've just mistakenly refreshed again. So let me just again drag this. It's taking like real long time to come on. So if you're having this experience and you want to halt it, you do Control C. So otherwise, you just wait for it to run through. So you see the changes. It's installing the package Microsoft Teams. So it's downloading at 1.9 megabytes out of 19.43 megabytes. So that's what it is doing. It's trying to install this module. It's 3.92 already.
50 naira lórí èèyàn kankan on your own gain and this thing.
Francis,
so
thank
kò ní
you.
dàbí pé bóyá o ń ṣọ́ọ̀tì owó ẹ̀ kankan nínú laptop nínú kíní.
So that's it. So it's saying that it has installed the module. So it's saying that the Windows 32 installed module Microsoft Teams Force Global warning, the version 6.90 of module Microsoft Teams currently in use. Retry the operation after closing the application. So for the fact that I don't have any redlining error, this is just like a warning to me. So the next thing I want to do is, now it has installed. So the next point I want to look at is how to install the module. I mean, how to import the module. So just give me a second to bring that up also on the screen. Like I mentioned, the next point after installation is connecting, right? I mean, importing. So you must import the module. And what is it? It is import -module. Which module are you importing? Microsoft Teams. So you just hit on this. This is not supposed to take like a long time if we have like a friendly internet connection. Okay, so that has imported successfully, right? So the next thing we want to do, like I mentioned in the steps, after installing, we import. I hope I'll be able to control this. So after installing, which we did, we import. After importing, we connect Microsoft Teams PowerShell. So what do you think is going to be? Is as simple as what we just said, is connect-Microsoft Teams. That's all. So if we put it here now and we do this, right, it's just going to be connect-Microsoft Teams. So don't do the mistake to go and hit on this, right? I mean, on this, you have to click on this one since we are running that particular line. So what is going to come up is an interface where I need to type in my username and my password to sign into the environment. So just give me a second to try to switch my network and see if it's. Apologies for that break. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so this is it. So after running this command, right? If you can see my screen, just drop a yes on the chat. That's all I just want to know so that you can be sure that my screen is still being shared in line with your speech. Okay, I've changed my network. Hopefully it's better.
Yeah, I can see us.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So yeah, thank you, LC. So the point is, after running this command, right, it's going to prompt you this way. So to pick the tenant you want to sign into. I'm currently having an issue with this, so I'm just going to add a new tenant and I'm going to type in. So because this happened behind the scene, because that time I had issues. So what I want to do is I will just do a CLX. So remember that we have done imports, we have done install, we have done imports, we are just about running connect. So if I bring back my cursor to CLS and I run the CLS, so I'm going down to run connect, right? Other things I've done that see can run there, everything is set. I'm just going to hit on this, and then the next thing you see immediately is a prompt that is for me to sign in. So I just wanted to have this feeling. It's loading for me to initiate the signing. So unfortunately, even this connection is not top notch. It's still also waiting. Ideally, I'm not supposed to wait this long, but of course, we'll manage what we have. So I'm going to sign in this admin at Microsoft, no, admin at Pillars Concepts. Once is that, the next thing is to prompt me for a sign in my password, just like the normal thing I would have done. So I'm putting in that password, and then if it takes it, then I'll be able to sign in successfully. And then I will show you how it looks when it successfully signs in. So now this is good, right? So it's saying that I have been able to sign in connected to Microsoft Teams. The accounts I've signed in with is this account, and then my tenant ID is this, and then everything about my tenant basically is this. So the next point is that, okay, now you have signed into Teams, that's fine. So what do you want to do? I may just want to get information, right? Maybe I want to get the number of teams I have in my environment. So before I do that, I'm just coming here and I'm coming to the admin center really to show you some things. What I'll do this later. So this is the Teams admin center, which we have dealt with. So if I go to manage team, right? If I go to manage teams, I will see a list of teams I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is fine. So before we go on, I'm going to bring up this guy in the other screen. So now the point is, if I want, now I'm connected to Teams, right? So if I want to get the number of teams in my environment, what I would do is, already I've seen this in the GUI. So I want to show you how it looks on the CMD, what's it called, the PowerShell. Let's see how to display it. So get-team is a connection for me. So you see now, verb now, get team, right? Get-team. So I put a statement here to say this gets a list of all teams that you have in your environment. So this hash sign is commenting out this, and you can see them appearing in green. So you can really like to put all them in statements. So what I'm trying to look at is, if I run the command, I don't need this to run this, right? This is just a description from my end. So get-team, what is it going to be doing for me? So I will not run this. If I run this first one, it's going to run like everything. But if I run this, it's going to run only this line of command. And you'll see that it will be highlighted when I hit on this. So what is it going to do? Fetching team progress, right? And then it is giving me the name of my team. Display name, job ready training, pillars concept, something, pillars concept this, and then job ready training, and then share it. So if I really minimize this now and then expand this and maybe drag it to this place and bring it down a bit, you really agree with me that the first team I have here is job ready training. The second one is pillars concept project. This is it. The third one is this, and then the fourth one is this, and then the last one is share it. So this is the interaction between the get team command and what is actually happening in that my environment. How do I clear everything here? I will just come back to this line and I'll hit on clear or CLS. So now what's happening here at this instant in time is that I have disconnected from Teams. I mean, I've connected to Teams and I'm already interacting with Teams from the PowerShell line, right? Which is fine. So the next point I want us to do is I have users in my environment, right? So the point I'm going to is to get the users that you have so that we can know the one that is enterprise voice enabled. Get -CS online user, CS online user. So I'm just trying to get that from here and then we can look at it together. So get CS online user is what you actually use to get the list of the users that you have in your environment. So if I'm doing get CS online user, so what is it saying? Get online users. I want you to look at it from that point. Get your online users. So get Teams enabled user. That's what it's going to do. And it will display all the users, not just the users, and all their attributes. So if you have like a list of users, this will run almost forever because it's going to display all the users you have in your environment as well as all their attributes. So I'm going to hit on this and then you will expect this to rain a lot for me after a while. Can you see that? So what this is doing is that it is bringing out all my users and showing me all the policies that those users have. Now it has successfully displayed the list of the users that I have. I may have to hold this and drag it up. So what is that first user that it is carrying? It is carrying this user, and the alias of this user is this. So if you have to look down before you can display the name. The name of the person is Daniel Michael. Oh, apologies, I need to scroll up again. So that very first name is going to show that. So the first user in my organization that it is picking is Daniel Michael. And Daniel Michael, this is NG, right? What is this? The die plan is NG, right? The die plan. And then if you look at the enterprise voice is false. So, and this is the point I want us to look at, is enterprise voice enabled false. So what this means is that this user does not have calling plan, and it's either it does not have calling plan or it does not have phone system license. So if this user is giving phone system and calling plan, then this enterprise voice is supposed to be showing true for him. So you'll see things like line URI. Line URI is the phone number that you assign to the user. This way you're going to have the phone number display. So you have a lot, right, that will actually display about the users. Now, the next user also will be on this list. But the question is that, what if your concern is actually about one particular user? Because this next user is Emmanuel Akiesi. So that is how I'll keep scrolling, and it's just displaying like all the users in my environment, right? Because if you really come to my admin center, you come to users, you go to manage users, you will really see that these are the users that I have that are going to be on that list. So Daniel Michael was there already from the scroll that I just did. Then Emmanuel Akiesi was the next person on the list. And if you look at Daniel Michael's details, all the details that were displayed in that PowerShell command is all you will really have. You come to the team that the person belongs to, come to the voice settings and all of that, you really see like a lot about that particular user. So if I come back to this place, and what if I wanted to narrow the plan to, the search to only one person? How do I start deleting all these ones? I'll just come back to CLS and I'll just hit on only this command and everything is cleared. So now, if I want to limit my search to only one user, right, that is just one. This is a template that you can use. I'm just copying from Microsoft Doc. You can paste this, and the next thing is that you can bring the SIP, that is the email address of the user, right, and put it here. It will just give you the guess yes online of that particular user that you are looking for an attribute. So why is this important? If you have a user who can make calls and you have another user who cannot make call, let's say for example you have Emmanuel Akiesi can make call, you have Daniel Michael cannot make call. How do you put their attributes side by side? Or there are issues that are happening so you ask how many users is it affecting? They tell you 2 users only. Is there a user that it is working for? They say yes. So you now say, okay, you want to look at the attribute of a user that is working and another user that it is not working for, so that you can compare them side by side. So that's how to troubleshoot. So how do we get the email address of the user first? So we have to bring in this guy's email address. So what that means is that we are coming into the PowerShell here, and then we are putting the email address of the first person here. So that is Daniel Michael for you. So we are going to do this, and then we'll run a command against his email address. So it's like the string missing, the terminator, this something is there. And of course, the sweet thing about it is that it's obvious. I have opened the quotation, I have not closed it, and that's why that complaint came up. So it's just for me to close it. It's telling me already. So that's why it is sweet. So if you see these red lines, it is not good, but if you take your time to look at it, you really know what they're talking about. And because I don't like red lines, so I'll just come here and do CLS, right? So I'll come back to this line, and then I will just do this. So it should give me the attribute of Michael Daniel now. So that's it. So what I will do is I will copy this, right? I'm giving you an instance where the issue was from Michael Daniel. So I'll just put it here, right? And I will take it down. I can actually export it, but let's not go into all those because we're just doing only 2 things. So I'm going to bring up my notepad, and then I'll paste it there. I'm bringing it here for you to see. So I'll paste it here. That means these are all the attributes of Michael Daniel. So I want to compare the attributes. Let's say this guy cannot make call, or there's something just happening and I need to compare with that is working and a non-working user. So I'll come back to manage users, and then I'm going to look for Emmanuel Akiesi. So I'll just come here to Emmanuel Akiesi, and then the next thing I will do is I will just, what am I trying to look for? I'm trying to look for his email address. So if I come to look at this, so what am I going to do? I'm just going to bring up, somebody has unmuted mic again. Oh. So I'm just coming here. Oyimafu, please help me check that person. So I'm pasting that email address here, Control V, and then I'm doing the output of this user here. So I may just want to do a CLS, right? Just to clear my slates, and then come to run for only Emmanuel so that I can be sure that I'm not copying the attribute of another user. So what I will do is I will just drag this up here, and then I will also put this down. So if I put this down, then I will do C, and then I can just do another, oh no, I don't want to do that. I just want to bring up another notepad. So you cannot view this, and then for this, you cannot do this, and then for this, I can equally do this. So what am I doing? I'm putting their attributes side by side, right? And then I'm starting to compare them. I want to say, yeah, SPS session was run for this. Account enabled is true. Account enabled is true. Then account type is user account. Account type is account type here is ineligible user. Okay, so maybe this is what is going to give me the answer to what I'm looking for. I can now say, hey, the attribute of who is this person? Emmanuel KC is user, while Michael here is ineligible user. You've already seen a difference. To be very, very honest with you, if you go through the GUI, you will never see this difference. I'm not sure how you're going to see this difference, right? But if you do that via PowerShell this way, you can truly put their attributes together. Already you've known a difference. So if you are maybe troubleshooting with a team, you may just want to do like a sniping tool. And then what you do is you can just quickly pick these parts and share it among your team. You can just quickly pick, why you not picking? You can just quickly pick these parts and share it among your team to say, you're already noticing a difference. This is the working and this is the affected user, right? That this is showing ineligible and this is showing user. So you're already making sense, right? This is one of the best things to do when issues arise. So D_Michael, E_Emmanuel, and then you come here. So for this, you can look at, so for example, there are issues that refer to policies that are happening. So you can look at it. On-prem enterprise voice enabled is false. Then you can also come here. On-prem enterprise voice enabled is also, this is hide from global address list. So you can actually put their details together. If it is policy issue, then Teams application permission policy, nothing is there. If you have nothing there, it means that they are in the global policy. But if you have something there, they will actually point out the policy that they are both in, right? So for Teams upgrade notification is false, then Teams only mode, you can actually put those attributes together one after the other to see which and which to compare, which to differentiate, and which to pick and which to leave. So you can see all these attributes. So this is actually possible by the means of PowerShell. So I'm just going to do like a CLS first, and then we'll move on to the next point, which is going to be speaking to the other lines of command and how to get yourself familiar with Teams PowerShell, right? So there are some. So if you want to get team, right, we use get team, right? So if you do this get team, one thing that is very important there for you to know is the group ID. The group ID, this is it, right? This is what is called the group ID. Every team has its own unique group ID. This one here, right? And this one here, let's say, for example, this one, the name is not complete, right? Let's just pick this. Let's say we are looking at this team. We already know the group ID. And then what we want to do is we want to get group ID. We want to get like detail about a team, right? So we can say, we can do get team, right? And then when we say get team, we are going there to do get team. And then if we know the ID of the team that we want to get more details about, we can do this and put the group ID, which is this one, inside of that placeholder. And then let me see what happens when we click on go. So that means we need to remove these parts. So let me remove this. So I will do CLS. Of course, you know what CLS is going to do for us. So we can have like a clean slate, right? And then we are going to run this command. So if we do this, so what will happen is that it will give us like the details of that, to just come back to the details of that, to tell us that it is a private team, the visibility is, that is if you are targeting a particular team. Now let's say get team ID, like, so let's say get team user group. So if we want to get the users that are in this group, so it's just, what I'm trying to say is that it's just like English language. So if I want to get team user, if I want to get the, let's see what this command is going to do for us. So I'm going to run this. So I'm going to put this and I'm going to say get group user, because we said get group and then we had this. Let's try to run this command. So if we do this now, what's it going to do for us? Now, what is it doing? It is displaying the users of that team for me. So let's say you have a team and you want to know their users. So what is the team? The team is actually, first of all, the output of the team is that the team is pillars concepts, and then is having this. So if we look at it, there is me, admin at pillars concept, Joseph, there is Victoria, there's Oluwagbemiga, there is Daniel, there is Emmanuel, there is Buru, there is this person. So if you go to the team itself and then you go to manage team, and then what you do is you go to the team. So it's possible that it is how many users were there in that team. Let's check again, because that pillars concept is actually long. What if we even do it with the other one? Let's do get team again. Let's do CLS. I hope it's going to make sense with this one that is share gates, right? Which is the name is complete for us to see from here. After zooming up, I think some things are no longer completely visible. So we just do get team. So if we do get team, it's going to give us all the team, and then share gates. We're going to check with share gates. So share gates is this is the ID of share gates. We're going to move the group ID of share gates, and then what we are going to be doing is get team user, and then we are putting the group ID of share gates team, right? Just so we can quickly know the details of that. So how is the output going to be? There's nobody in share gates. So now let's look at it. In share gates, members, there's nobody. That's what that means. So members, I think I'm supposed to display there as a member, but let's add somebody. Yeah. Let's add Paul there. Let's just apply. And then I'm hoping this will sync like very fast. So let's go back to PowerShell and then run like the command again. I'm wondering, oh, it even displayed the user. I had an oversight. It displayed me just admin at Pillars Concept, which is Joseph Afeso, owner of the team. Good. So I'm going to run the command again now that I've added another person. So that's the essence of trying to clear your slate every time so that you don't get confused. I'm going to clear it and run this command again. You'll see that we are now 2 persons there. So I'm doing this get team and I'm running this. So you will see that I should have Paul join me in that team. So can you see it? There's Paul there, and then there is Joseph as member of the team. So that's how sweet it can be. And there are some settings you want to do. You can only do them from here. So now, unfortunately, there are some commands that will not be able to run, not because we cannot run them, but because we do not have the enterprise enabling license to give to user. But that's not a problem, right? So you can also export, but we're not treating PowerShell today. So we're actually trying to treat things that have to do with teams. So now, how do you create a team using PowerShell command? Right, that's another topic that we may want to look at. How do you even create team and then have people added to that team and so on? So if we look at some things, some basic things that I want to just show us today, if you want to, I just want to show you some things on how to create a team. So if you look at this, before we go into the specifics of the commands that you would use to run your voice, right? I just want to give you a background of how things run with PowerShell. So look at this. I want to do that. I want to first of all paste this I want to first of all paste this in. So I'm going to do this V. So new team, the display name of the team, Contoso marketing, and then it's for collaboration space for Contoso's marketing department. So I want to call this new team. I want to call the name of the team Nigerian M365, Nigeria M365 demo. Now the description is demo class. I just want to call it demo class, right? So that it can even be short, demo class. So this is how long it is. Now, if you understand how this command is new, I'm creating new. That's what I was telling you that time. I'm creating new, and I'm creating displaying a new team, right? And the display name of the team is going to be demo, and the description is going to be this. So this is just simple. Now, if you look at something from here, if we go to if we do CLS now, right? So if we do CLS here, CLS, and then we are coming down here, and then we'll do get team. You count how many we have. We'll have, but then come on. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we want to create a new team using PowerShell. So we'll just do this. That is new team. Display name of the team is Nigerian M35 demo. Description is demo class. So if I run this now, I would expect it to give me nothing. At the end of the day, it's just tell me success. So I just wanted to drop into the second line. So it's creating the team background now. I'm just waiting for it, and that is a function of my internet connection, honestly. It's not supposed to take this long. So but really, instead of you clicking and clicking, just by just running this one line of command, we create a team, we give it a display name, we give it a description, and then the team is created, and it has given it an ID, right? It has given it an comment. I'm just trying to look for something. Okay. Now, so what that means is that if I come here now and I clear this, I do CLS, right? Where's CLS? And I clear this, and I'm going to do get team. It means that it will be +1 for me. And that +1 is what? Nigeria M35 community. Look at it. Where are you? Look at it here. Nigeria M35 demo, right? And it is all created. Archived? No, it is not archived. What that means is that if I come to my admin center now and go to teams, yeah, and I come to manage teams, right, I'm going to see that team now showing up here. And the question is that sometimes you may just be struggling to add somebody. There's nobody there at this point. No, there's no member. It's just an empty group. Oh, I became the member automatically because I ran the command. So I'm the only member there, and I'm the owner. So if we want to look at here and then go to say CLS, right, just to clear, and then I want to see get team first. Let me just say get team so that I can copy the ID of that team, right? I can actually get the ID of the team from the admin center as well, but the Nigeria M35 community demo, I'm bringing up the group ID, Control C, and then what am I doing? I want to get team member, get team user. I'm going to put the ID of that team, right? I'm pasting it here, and then I'm running this command. And then what am I doing? I want to know the users that are there. That is, I'm the only one, and I'm the user. I'm the member. So what if I want to, from the PowerShell end here, it is failing for me to add member from the end user side, right? I want to add member to the team from the GUI. I want to add from PowerShell, right? Already you know that I have the group ID. So this is the group ID. You know how I got the group ID. So I'm going to put it here, right? Now here. So what it means is that add team user, of course, you see verb add team user now, then group ID, that is a group ID. Now, which user do I want to add? It has to be a user within my organization. So if I know the email address of the user, I can just add it. So manage user, I'm just going to add anybody that comes to my hand now to that team. Let's say I want to add I want just to add someone that I know is actively licensed. I want to add Boro Solomon. So if I click on Boro Solomon, I'll be able to get his email address in a bit. So this is his email address. So what I want to do is I want to add him to that team from the PowerShell end. So what I will just do is I will say user, and I will replace him with my domain user by putting this. So if I go to run this command, so before I run this command, I want to do CLS. I want to do CLS so I can clear out all those stuff again. So it doesn't necessarily matter if I put my cursor by the end of the line or if I put it by the middle. Once it's just within the line, then I can run this command and then it will get Solomon added to the theme that I have created. So what that means is that if I come back to do get theme with the ID here, it's going to be that Solomon and I are going to be members of that team. You can see Solomon and Joseph are now members of the team. So that's how sweet it is for you to look at PowerShell command. What other example do I show you? You can also, we have created team, right? So we can also delete a team, right? We can remove a user from a team. So I think that can be one of the things that we want to do. We may want to remove a user, right, from a team. So what do? We want to remove Solomon from team because somebody want to say, what if I want to remove, right? So I can do this and then I can paste this, remove user, which user? I'm removing Solomon. So it was even the last email address I copied. So this is a placeholder. Remember to remove the brackets also. So just paste this. And then I want to remove Solomon. What's the group ID? The group ID, I have it copied and it's ending with BA. So I'm just going to do this. And then it is BA, where are you? That's it. So what it means is that you are removing a user. What group are you removing the user from? Which user are you removing? Solomon. So I'm just going to do this. And then what happens is that if that command runs successfully and I come back to CLS and then I go to get team again, then Solomon is actually going to get out of that. Solomon is going to get out of that team. So if I do get team user from that, I'll do this. So if you look at this point, you can see that I'm now the only user on that group. So this is just to make sense of how we can understand how we can understand PowerShell command. So coming to the other points of today's conversation. So I want us to go like straight into commands that have to do with voice, because actually the reason why I'm even trying to go into all of this is because of voice. So I'm going to take my time to explain to us like the basic things that we need to know about PowerShell commands that have to do with voice. Okay, so if I do this, right? If I do this PowerShell command in Teams voice, that's what I want to explain to us. So the get CS online user identity, right? What this is going to do for us, is it will get us the user and the assigned plan that the user has, right? I'm going to explain all of this. Then get CS phone number, assignment, identity, voice user, this is going to tell us if the enterprise voice is true or false. So already we know what enterprise voice user is. An enterprise voice user is a user who is not who has the required license to have diepad in Teams, right? Then set CS phone number, assignment, identity, the user, enterprise voice enabled true. So I'll need to explain this command to us. For this command, right? If, for example, you have a user that you have given the licenses to, and yet the user is not having the ability for you to assign phone number to, then you can be coming to run this command to turn the enterprise voice enable of the user to become true. For example, coming with this command, I will go back to the admin center to really explain some things to us. But before then, if you look at this command, right, here, let me paste it here. Now, the screen is a bit big. I may just want to bring it in a bit. So you can see set CS. This is phone number, right? Assignments. You are giving this phone number. You are setting the phone number of this user, but the identity of the user is user3@contoso.com, enterprise voice enabled true. Now, if you look at this user, get CS phone number assignment, user identity, Emmanuel, if I run this command, right, it's going to show me that the enterprise voice of this user is false. The reason why this user enterprise voice enable is false is because it does not have the required license to be enabled for enterprise voice. I'm looking for that enterprise voice enabled. So account is enabled, yes, and then this first false here saying enterprise voice enable is false. So instances where you have given the phone system license and the calling plan license to this user and the enterprise voice is still showing false, right? You come here, take the user's email address, this email address here, right? You will bring it into this command, replace it with this guy, okay, and then by yourself force the enterprise voice enable to become true. If I do this, you know what will happen? To tell me that the user does not have required license. So let's do it so that we can see the outcome of it before we go back to the admin center. So this user's is false, so I want to turn it to true. So you see what it will tell me. It will yell at me with a red sign, and then to say Microsoft Teams configuration internal set phone number assignment, the user, this is the user ID, does not have the required license to set attributes. The required license is sure, because before you can become enterprise voice enabled, you must have the phone system license and calling plan, or phone system license and third-party provider for your calling, right? And that is the reason why this is yelling, and it is, if you take your time to read it, don't need to trouble yourself. But instances where you are giving license to this user and the enterprise voice enable is true, and yet you're unable to assign phone number to this user, you will by yourself turn this to false, wait for 24 hours, turn it back to true, and attempt to give phone number to the user. Having said that, let's come back to the admin center. Like, we've been able to establish sense in PowerShell, and I want you not to be troubled by the simple lines of command. They are simple, they are straight to the point, they are easy, and you are good to go with them. So I'm thinking of the tenants to really use for this demo, but I think this may just work better for us. Let me see. I'll drag this over here. We're using this yesterday, right? So if you look at your voice, right, you have a lot. One of the things you would do, or you must do, before opting for phone number is that you must set up your emergency address, right? I'm looking for that. So you must set up your emergency address, because it is your emergency address that will determine the, you must set emergency address for all the numbers that you are purchasing. That's what I'm trying to say. I think his emergency location is down here. If I don't see it on time, then we can start from, yeah, this is it, emergency address. So you must first of all set up an emergency address that speaks to where your business is. So steps to obtain phone number: first, set up an emergency address. Set up an emergency address. So an emergency address is actually a civic address, the physical or the street address of a place of business for your organization, used to route emergency call to appropriate dispatch authorities and to assist in locating an emergency caller. You can add places and specify a floor, building, the wing, or the office number to give emergency address a more exact location. So it is important that you know that before you can obtain phone number in Microsoft Teams, you must set up your emergency address. Somebody is trying to bring up a third-party conversation into this meeting, and I'm looking for that person now. The person you are taking some of our time, Joseph Aderoju. So looking at this, I'm not sure why the emergency address keep rolling, but if it is done, you would have had the option to add, state your emergency address location, and then you can really go on to save to bring that up on an emergency address basis. So that is the first place you need to go. Locations, emergency address. So having said that, the next thing you do is to go to phone numbers. So really there are two types of phone numbers. Will I say two types? Yes, two types. Two types of phone number. One is user phone number. Two is service number. So the user phone number is called user subscriber number. I started again, Abby. Don't mind me. But you need to understand how these things work. There are two major types of phone numbers in Teams. So if you are using calling plan, in calling plan, you have two types of phone numbers. You have one. I think I will just do new so that we can do it without this guy. Two types of phone numbers. Microsoft phone number. Let me do that so that it will be Microsoft phone numbers. So you have oh shit, what's that? Okay, I'll just zoom this in a bit. It's too much. Okay, so I hope you'll be able to see it. So you have the Microsoft phone number, types of Microsoft phone number. You have user subscriber number, and then you have service number. So the user subscriber number really is I wish I could actually zoom this in a bit. So for the user subscriber number, right, as the name implies, the numbers are assigned to users. Then you have service numbers. Service numbers are numbers that are used for service numbers. Service number, right? Service numbers are used for services. So what are the services that are used? So user subscriber number is number you assign to user. Fine, no problem, right? But for service number, I have started again. There are two types of service numbers. You have the call queue, right? And then you have auto attendance number, attendance numbers. Now I've started again, but don't be angry. In calling to call queue. So again, you even I can even classify this as another type of phone number, audio conferencing, audio conferencing, audio conferencing, conferencing phone number. Yes, it's actually a service number. Now, I will explain this one after the other. You have the call queue, the auto attendants, and then the audio conferencing phone numbers. So what is call queue? What is auto attendance? And what is audio conferencing? Call queue is you have a queue of agents, right? These agents are on a queue, and don't mind my diagram. They are just standing on this queue, and then the third person is standing on that same queue. Then a call is coming in to this user. Then the available agents will be the one to pick the call. Now, this is call queue. People are just many, and then the call rings. Depend on how the routing is set. It can be that it will use the longest idle, the person who picked the call the last. I mean, the person who has stayed without a call for the longest time. The call can ring the person. It can be like the call will ring everybody at the same time, and whoever picks up first will have the call. That one is not what we want to talk about now. But basically, call queue is a call that comes to a queue, a group of people, and then people pick based on their availability. That is call queue. Then for auto attendance, right, you also have people, but these people can be on different queues, right? Or it can even be one person standing by, different queues, right? Different queues. And then when the call is coming, it will say press 1. This is 1 to speak to marketing, pick 2 to speak to support, press 3 to speak to manager, right? So what happens is that call, when it's coming, it's during the queue, they have a music on hold, as the case may be. Then once that music ring, it will from here tell them press 1 for these guys, press 2 for these guys, press 3 for these guys. That is what is called an auto attendance. Is available in Teams under service numbers. That service number is what you give to the resource accounts. We'll look at what is called resource accounts soon. Now, for for audio conferencing is that feature where you have a Teams meeting, but people can call in to that Teams meeting using a phone number instead of joining the call online. So like you can join a Teams meeting that we are now with a Nokia phone, a touchlight Nokia phone, by dialing in to that call, right? So the only feature you have there is audio. You will not be able to have screen share feature. Neither will you be able to have like a recording of videos, right? But you'll be able to dial into the call and you have like priority given to audio. It will be very, very, very clear to you. That's why sometimes when you are joined in on the call and your call is not very clear, the next thing that will be suggested to you that you want to dial in directly. So you can really dial in directly into calls. So that is what audio conferencing is. So if you are using service number, then you have two types of numbers you want to buy. Again, Joseph, you have started. You have said phone, you have user number, you are safe, no problem. Then if you are coming to service number, you have call queue, you have auto attendance, you also have audio conferencing. And I'm saying again that if you are using service number, you have two options. You have the tool, right? And then you have the toll free. Toll free. I'll be learning how to use this. One day I will have a touch screen with a pen. I'll be very, very fast at doing things like this. So there is toll that is toll free. So of course you know what it means. If you are making a toll call means that as you are calling into this service number, you are the one that is paying for the call. You, who is the caller, you are the one paying your own subscriber for the call. But if you are using toll free, it means that it is the person who is receiving the call that is going to be receiving that call. Is going to be paying for the call that you are calling them. If you call, is it 310 now? It used to be 180 MTN line. You think that call is free? It's free to you, but MTN is paying for that airtime, right? But if you go and call no, not Tisala, if you go and call First Bank that you're having an issue, that call, about you are the one paying for it, is a toll call. So at the end of the day, you want them to quickly do fast. And then they will tell you they are verifying, can you be on hold? You are the one paying for that call. But if you are calling MTN, they are the one holding. So you can see MTN call call to bank as service calls, but you are for banks, at least banks in Nigeria, you are paying for the call, but for MTN or maybe all the telcos, they are the one paying for that call. The call is not free in itself. Somebody is paying for that airtime. So that is how. Who wants to speak to us again? Just wake up, go and unmute your mic. Please don't disturb us. Thank you for your compliance. So you can see types of phone numbers, user, service. Under service, you have toll and toll free. Type of service number you have the toll. Just hold on, let me plug my PC. Okay. Okay, so apologies for that break. So if you are doing toll, right, you are the one paying for the call, toll free. The recipient of the call is the one paying for it. Then for calls like auto attendance, audio conference, auto attendance, call queue, audio conferencing, they follow the same routes. So having understood the differences between call queues, auto attendance, and audio conferencing, we can now come into the portal to see if at all we can struggle out some things from here. So to set up calling feature for users and service in your organization, you can get new numbers or port existing one from a service provider. I mentioned to you yesterday that you can actually bring in your phone numbers. The question will be, how do I bring in my phone numbers? You see this action up here by the top right hand side. You can see get phone number supports or manage porting pin, right? You can just come here. If you go to submit regulatory information or get phone number, from inside get phone number support, you have a CSV file that you will download, upload the phone numbers that you want to get, you push them to Microsoft, and then they will help you to get those phone numbers inside. That is a bit out of the scope for us today, but I'm just telling you that you can do that. So now, if you want to get phone number from Microsoft, I got one here, and the trick, and that's not like the right way to do it. But if you look at this, if I go to add, I'm just going to show you a demo. So if you want to buy those phone numbers, right, you come here. I hope this is going to respond to me soon. Yeah, good. So I'll just call it M365 community order. So M365 Nigerian community order, right? And then you must also again indicate, the description. Then now look at it from operator, from direct routing. So this is a very current change that I have here. So you can come here, location. This is where it is important. Now, I don't even know where this. So let's just say, because we know that in US, we can type United States. Of course, we know that from our yesterday's finding, we have phone numbers from UK. We have some from United States. So if we are going for, I saw a prompt that says, I cannot see what you are doing. Is that true? Good evening. I cannot see what you are doing. Please, somebody confirm. Can you see my, thank you, I can see. So you may have to leave quickly and come back. Thank you. So if you come here, right, you fix the country. I'm telling you this because you will have a lot here. So you will see user subscriber number, dedicated conference bridge toll. And then you will see dedicated conference bridge toll free. So this is no longer new to you because I have told you about them. Then call queue toll free, auto attendant toll, and auto attendant toll free, right? So all these are types of phone numbers that you can actually go for. Unfortunately, I will not be able to get to the end of this demo because I don't have the required license. But if I go to user subscriber, for example, it will tell me that I have 0 remaining. The reason is because I don't have the required license. And it's saying that remaining count is calculated from current license volume minus previous acquired stock. So now if you come here to look at it, the next thing it's asking me is to add my location. So it's either I'm adding location or I'm going to search for the location that I have already saved. I think I used TTT to save one particular location. So I'll have to bring it on. So I'll do this. I'll click on select to bring in my location. And this location, if I'm going for a US number, the location must be a US location, right? And then I'll put in the quantity that I have left. I'll put it there, and then I'll click on next, and I'll place order to get the phone numbers. So I'll actually refer you to one of my videos that you are going to look at so that you can see how I got phone numbers when I had licenses. So if I'm going for call queue also, okay, this one is even good. I think I can use this to make an example, at least for call queue. I can get that for free, maybe because of there's another dependent license I had. So now look at it. I can have 5 remaining for call queues. I'm happy that I'm going to be able to do, like, maybe let's just get 2 phone numbers from Microsoft. And then what we will do is we'll look for the location TTT, and that's going to give us. So I was just the one that saved that as one of my Colorado address. So the Colorado address is going to bring up phone numbers that are within Colorado. So Colorado area code is 719. So if I do 719 now, I will do next, right? So what is in? Thank you for your patience. We are retrieving right numbers for you. So this is going to look through numbers and it's going to give me the call queue numbers that so I asked for 2. So you can see this countdown here. It is saying if I'm okay with this number, I can click on place order. If I'm not okay with these 2 phone numbers, then I can wait for this timer. So once it times out, it will bring another choice of 2 phone numbers from me randomly that I may want to do, but I'll just click on place order since I don't have preference, right? So thank you. Your order has been placed. Your M35 order has been placed. The numbers will appear in the list of phone numbers as soon as they become available. Finish. But of course, you know that the type of phone numbers that I'm obtaining, these are the 2 phone numbers there, right? The 2 phone numbers are from Colorado Springs. I copied them so that I can look at them. The one ending with 48, oh, one is even given to me from Pueblo, right? And one is from this other region. But really, what is there is that before you can assign this phone number to, if you look at them, the both of them are voice app. So, but the trick I was able to do one time that made me have a user number, even though I don't have license, is that I can now decide to, very recently, I can convert the come here to change. So I will change the number from service number from which usage do you want to change the phone number to? It's no longer giving me option. So it's just saying, do you want to convert it to conference, right? So I don't have option to even convert it to user number. But before I can assign this phone number to a user, it must have the required phone system license and calling plan. So now, how do I assign phone number to user? I have one phone number here. How would I have been able to assign that phone number to user from the GUI? I would have come to
Yeah, hello. Good evening, everyone. Let's just hold on. Speaker is will join us shortly. Let's just hold on. Okay. Well, meanwhile, if you have any question, you could just drop the question on the chat. Yeah, our speaker will join shortly. Yeah, I can see a comment. I really don't understand PowerShell. Most times PowerShell is like that at the beginning, but later you will definitely love to use PowerShell because it makes life easy. Uh, just just look at it, but at the end of the day, don't worry. You like PowerShell. You like PowerShell.
I'm in now, so maybe I'll just take questions and then. Guys, people should go and talk to MTN to have sense, because it's not really helping us at all. We're trying all manner of internet connection. I'm on the 5G connection as I speak to you, and I'm having these issues. So apologies for the hitches, but I hope that we're able to learn a bit so that I don't stress it beyond this. So Emmanuel, please take questions. Let's see how we can answer them, please.
Yeah, but there's no question. Just Theodora was just saying that she really doesn't understand PowerShell.
So I would recommend I'll drop a link now for her. I know I've worked on PowerShell like in the past very deeply, so I will share that with her now. Don't worry, I think it's okay now. So what I did not really, my intention was not like to start teaching PowerShell from the scratch, but the principle is what I just showed. So I'm going to drop a playlist so that you can just go through like from the very beginning. You can understand how it looks. I think I had like how many videos on that playlist. Just a second. I think I've seen that already. Yeah, I have like 7 videos, yeah, on that playlist. So you may want to check it out. I'm dropping down here right now. So that's for beginners, right? It's like from the very beginning to where that is a bit advanced, I would say. So that's what I can say about PowerShell. But for all that we've done, do we have questions? Mentees, let me put it there on the group chat also. I'm 365 mentee community. I hope this is it. Is it? So, is there any question, please? Okay, so if the answer is no, we may want to call it a day. Oyimafu, please, can go on.
Okay. Once again, thank you, Joseph, for the wonderful walkthrough on PowerShell, using PowerShell. So it's actually a great one. At least we're able to learn how to install Microsoft Teams module and interact with Teams PowerShell. That's a great section. I've learned a lot, and I know everyone on the call have learned a lot. Can we appreciate our MVP for that wonderful section with a reaction, show some love? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all for joining today. So, Theodora, you could ask your question. You unmute your mic. Your hand is raised, except if it's a mistake. Or Bruno Miracle, you can unmute your mic and talk. Okay. Maybe they are just trying to give a reaction. So thank you all for joining today. Thank you, Joseph. We'll be calling it
All
a
right,
night.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you too. Yeah. Have a good one, guys. And apologies for the ups and downs with the network, but hopefully we'll get better at it next time. Take care. Bye from here.